Okay, it's 4:28 a.m. I have to get ready to catch my flight because I'm leaving for NAMM. Just made it to Anaheim, California for NAMM. Again, super excited. And the reason why I'm that excited, it's not because of the convention. Convention is awesome, NAMM is great, but it's to get together with my friends. Lid Shaw, Matt Boudreau, Björgvin Benediktsson, to name a few. And this is where we usually meet in person. You know, we do have a mastermind group where we meet online on a Zoom call every Friday. And I've been part of that group for, I would say, maybe 5 years or so. And NAMM, whether it's the summer NAMM or winter NAMM or even AES, it's the time we get together.
Holy, who's that right there, man? Who is that guy?
It's been like 4 years? No, 4 years. 2020 was the last time we saw each other. Dude.
For too long.
Like big time. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, dude.
It's gonna be fun.
Bienvenue.
Yes, sir.
And then we need to.
All right, so I'm here at NAMM 2024. Exciting as always. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to bring you with me. And on top of that, we're going to look at my top 5 favorite products for a home studio, whether they are hardware, plugins, softwares, whatever, you know. But first, I'm going to have to find some. Let's go. Okay, so here I am with Irene from Heritage Audio. So we're looking at a brand new interface. It's actually the first Heritage Audio interface.
Yeah, it is. I'm studying.
That's exciting. All right, so tell me about it.
This is our latest product in the line of 73 style preamplifier, DSP powered, in fact, USB-C audio interface. So we are talking about audio interfaces that has the same preamplifier that we have in our other pieces up here.
Okay.
This is a transformer.
Yes.
And this is the most complete one that we have, the Pro Edge. So you have 2 channels with the 73 style preamplifier. You have 2 additional line inputs compared to the Pro 2,
Okay.
for example. You have 2 JFET DI.
Nice.
2 separate headphones out, and 2 different stereo outputs on the back.
That's nice. And there's also plugins,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
ESP plugins, right?
Yeah, it's the DSP powered plugin. So
Wow.
these are the first 2 channels. This will be the pre-amplified channels.
Okay.
And you would insert your DSP plugins here. For example, here we have the bridge strip. So it's our EQ and compressor.
Nice.
Once you insert your DSP plugin here, you will be able to record into your DAW simultaneously wet and dry signal. So from the same channel. And another nice thing is that here you have these 2 knobs. And you can set your channels into these 2 auxiliary tracks. Into your auxiliary tracks, you can insert any kind of VST plugin.
Yeah.
So it could be Heritage Audio or third-party plugins.
Okay.
And for monitoring controls, you will be able to hear it, even if, of course, you're not recording it because it's not DSP, but you can hear it in monitoring.
That's good. Awesome. And like the DSP side, of course, has no latency when recording with the plugins or monitoring with the plugins.
Basically, it's 0 latency because you are only using DSP plugins.
Okay. Something I like that I want to point out is that you have like the output knob on the preamp, so you can drive the circuitry. Yeah?
It's the same preamp of the other 73 style preamp that we have. So you have input and you have output for your signal.
Exactly. So you can increase the input, drive up the preamp,
Yes.
balance that out with the output level. And it makes like a very good use to add color to the sound. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I'm very excited myself about this.
But it's exciting. No, you have a reason to. Thanks.
So, boys, what's the plan for the next few minutes?
Well, we're gonna get ready for a
Be on this
live.
video.
And then we're gonna do a podcast live.
That's awesome.
right, I'm with Adam.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
I'm good. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. So, Adam is here at the Audient booth,
Yes, indeed.
and we are talking about a new interface for Audient.
This is Aria. We're super proud of it.
Okay, so tell me more about this.
So, right, so if you're mixing in immersive or you're looking at mixing in immersive, you're probably looking at the solutions on the market and going, this is hell. Complicated, expensive,
Confusing. For
you
sure.
want to change one thing, you've got to press 20 buttons.
Yes.
So, Aria.
Nice.
This is the world's first dedicated immersive mixing interface and controller, which can do all the calibration that you might need for your room on board the hardware. So every channel has an EQ, level trim, delays, bass management, every channel. It's got 9.1.6 outputs, both digital AES and analog. Also got stereo outputs, so if you want to still use your favorite near field separately, still mix in stereo.
So you don't need to have like a Atmos rig to use.
Exactly, you don't need an Atmos rig. What you could do if you're looking to do that in the future is get yourself an Aria, use your stereo speakers, and then later add to it.
I see.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. And then when you change from one speaker set to the next, the profile changes, which changes all the EQ and calibration
Nice.
to fit to match. Now, doing it manually is one thing. That's a huge kind of takes a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
You've got to be an acoustician or something. If you want to do that, that's great. But if you don't, Sound ID reference, Sonar works. This comes with the microphone comes with the unit, and you do a SonarWorks multi-channel capture that gets imported straight into Aria.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's all done on the hardware, so there's no latency extra. There's no
Okay.
CPU usage because it's
Don't
all
need to use the plugin.
right. Exactly. Well, you use it once to open it up to make sure it's right, and then you send it, and that's it. Done.
That is very useful. I can
Exactly.
like that.
So it's designed to be used either separately as a USB interface,
Okay.
or if you've got a big studio with a high track count, you can use a couple of ADAT cables and switch it around, use this as a monitor controller.
Nice.
So you don't have to remove your fancy studio or repatch anything, you don't have to change the way you're working. You can just add Aria in.
Awesome. And Aria is available right now.
4 weeks, 6 weeks, so almost
Okay.
ready. It's already on the boat, it's already on the planes.
Do you already have the street price?
Yes, street price, US, Europe,
US.
$26, $25.
Okay, cool. Thank you, my friend.
No problem, thank you.
I'm with Noam Livingberg from Safari Pedals. Hey guys. And also, if you follow my channel, you probably saw my review of the Dirty Dog plugin, which is an amazing reverb and saturation plugin. Anyways, you have a new plugin coming out soon.
Yeah.
Which is
It's the Ladybug reverb. It's a lo-fi reverb.
Lo-Fi reverb.
Yeah, it's something I had in my head for a long time.
Okay.
Because a lot of times you take a reverb and you try to kind of compress it and put some filters on it to make it sound a little bit lo-fi.
Mhm.
And I thought, why not make a plugin that's dedicated to that kind of dirty, old school sound of
Okay.
reverb.
What I like about your plugins is the simplicity that you get to from A to B very fast, and very efficient. Is that the case with the new plugin?
Yeah, absolutely. So it has essentially a lo-fi knob, a reverb knob, and a compressor knob.
Okay.
What's cool about it is you can turn off the reverb and just use it as a lo-fi machine,
Oh, nice.
which is pretty cool. And the compressor is a new algorithm that I worked on where when you twist the knob, it changes the ratio of attack and release. So it fits to whatever the knob is. You could try it out, it's pretty wild.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that looks promising, Noam, so I cannot wait to try it out. So guys, let me know if you want me to make a video on this plugin, right? So write this down below.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
This is the insane room. I can't hear the click.
Well, that sucks.
Think we get a picture?
Yes, sir.
see how you feel about these.
Let's do it again. Hopes, I have high hopes. It's fine. I've never tried this before. I'm not. It's actually surprisingly good.
Okay, now I'm with my good friend, Matt McGlynn, Roswell Pro Audio. Matt, how's it going?
It's going well.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
My last name was 2020.
Is that right?
Yes.
And then you've had COVID for 3 years.
Exactly. So I think I'm good now.
Good.
So what do you have now? Like, do you have something new?
Yeah, so what we're talking about this year, by the way, welcome. So this is the Mike Parts booth and Roswell. Mike Parts is my DIY line. So for people who like to breathe solder fumes, we have a whole line of microphones you can build from a kit. And
This is pretty cool.
This
Kind of like that, yeah.
But not everyone wants to build something.
No.
Although you should. And I say that not because I want to sell you stuff. I'd love to sell you stuff, but because the price-performance ratio is actually kind of mind-blowing. So a story I've told recently is that we sent one of our large diaphragm kits. It was in this shape of body, a mic called the T12 to Greg Wells, who you might know.
Yes.
Greatest showman. I think he won an award for that.
Yeah,
a Grammy.
exactly, yes.
And he said, this mic sounds like it cost $5,000. And we only charge $49.99. That's a joke. No, it costs like
I'll take a dozen.
under $400. So you spend $400 on the kit, and then Greg thinks it costs like $5,000. So anyway, the price performance is there. So what we're talking about this week is our small diaphragm line. So we have 3 different models that all look exactly the same because I don't know a lot about branding. And so there's one that's kind of like the Shep CMC5, which is a really famous old pencil condenser. And there's one that's modeled after the Neumann KM84.
Nice.
And I always clarify, not the 184, which
But
is
84,
made today, but
yes.
the original KM84 that is not
Which
made
is
anymore.
discontinued, yeah.
Discontinued. And then the third one is called the snare mic. This is the insides of the KM84 style mic. We call it the STC84, and also the snare mic.
Look at that.
And so, good components. It's got a transformer in there. But that's what it looks like on the inside. So anyway, yeah, these mics are great for, so like the snare drum is mostly for snare, and toms. The other 2 are great for overheads, strings, acoustic guitar. The thing about small diaphragm mics is they tend to have faster transient response, and that's really just a function of how big that membrane is that's smaller in diameter, so they tend to have faster transient response. The CMC5 style mic, what we call the STC, is the circuit has really accurate transient response because there's no transformer.
Okay.
Transformers are great, as you know, for imparting some color and some character.
Exactly.
And that has to do with the physics of the sound wave getting into the transformer and that core saturating and then staying charged for a second. So the transient comes through, but in the transformer, it's like, no, I'm holding on to that, and then it decays slightly. So in this mic we call the STC84 with the transformer in it, it softens transients a little bit and also gives you a little bit of harmonic saturation.
Nice.
And those are really useful characteristics. So for example, on drum overheads, the STC84 with the transformer, the transients are a little reduced, but it doesn't sound compressed. It's a little easier to mix because you don't have these huge spikes on your backbone. I'm not saying one's better or worse. There's a place for both.
You know what I like about this? You do all the talking.
Which is why my voice sounds like someone just dragged a cheese grater across it.
So the kit, to be clear, the kit is the one that you built yourself.
Yes. Yeah, when I say kit, so I'll for people who like to solder, we give you really great instructions. So it's step by step with photographs and arrows.
Look at that.
So you can see exactly what goes where. You don't need to read a schematic. You just need to read. It is English. But if you need it in French, Chris will translate.
I will.
Just email Chris.
I'm not. DK, Justin, man, how's NAMM for you guys so far?
Better now that you're here.
Yeah, exciting.
There you go. So if you don't know any of these guys,
Check 'em
amazing
out. Amazing
podcast.
music.
Amazing podcast.
Sonic Scoop.
Check him out. Sonic
Scoop.
Scoop. Come on. You have to know Sonic Scoop.
Subscribe or die.
I'm with Hannes from Oeksound, and there's a new plugin in the horizon coming up soon, which is
Bloom.
Bloom.
So Bloom is an adaptive tone shaper, and what that essentially means is that it analyzes the incoming signal and applies correction, so cuts and boosts according to the perceived tonal balance. So here I have it on the piano. Now on this graph, you can see that it's applying boosts, cuts that are sometimes boosts, and more boosts up here. And everything going on here is actually adaptive, so it's constantly changing depending on the balance of the incoming signal and tries to balance it out. But if this signal would suddenly change, the balance of it would also change, and it would change according to that. So because balance is not one thing, it's not an objective thing, it might be a subjective thing. And we wanted to take that into account. Now, the idea behind Bloom comes from a few different questions. What is warmth? What is presence? And how do you get overtones from a sound without increasing the amount of overtones? So without any saturation and non-linearities like that.
Okay.
And that's an important part of how Bloom works. It doesn't have any saturation in it. So everything that you hear and everything that it raises, gets out of the sound, already exists in it.
I see.
So after increasing the amount, which is applying the balancing that Bloom is originally doing, we move over to these bands.
Okay.
And these bands are there for the user to then adjust this algorithm to your needs. But again, they're not static. So you're just telling the algorithm to do more of the boosting here over a specific band, or then more of the cutting. And you can also change the middle, the center of this area.
That's cool.
So here I can just do a quick curve like that, and you see the areas that it's affecting, and you see that they're very, very wide. So
Yes.
we're not focusing on very specific areas. It's more about the overall shape of the sound. As with Soothe, you can ignore areas with bands like this, and we have also built-in low pass and high pass filters, just like an EQ at the end of this plugin. That it's more of a utility feature that is very nice to have. When we increase the amount even more, we start to introduce frequency-dependent compression. And what that means is that this shape that we've applied to the audio, we're actually starting to reduce the dynamic range across this whole shape. So it's like a compressor, but the threshold of it follows this shape across the whole frequency spectrum. So it doesn't have one set signal that it's following. And it's a very different way of approaching compression. And you can push it more into that compressor if you want, or just
Okay, I see.
less. But you can also just set it to a set point by clicking here. And this is going to start, so the whole process is gain independent here. It doesn't affect your volume between 0 and 7. But when you're in the squash area, that's when you need to trim it. But we have an auto trim, you click it once, you're set.
So the plugin is not released yet?
No, it's coming in the coming months, and it's very close to finished. We're just fixing the final bugs.
Okay.
And then it should be ready.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm with GC Audio, which is a company from France. So
Thank you. I'll try to explain in English.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. This is actually a pretty cool concept. You know, we're talking about a preamp where you have like cartridges that you can change, you know, depending on the tone you're looking for, which is quite nice. So,
Okay, so the GC Audio inherit system, it's a 4-swappable microphone preamplifier. And with only one device, you can have many different preamplifiers, so many different cartridges. On each cartridge, you have a different electronic design, and the electronic design comes from legacy analog mixing desk from the 70s, 80s, like the NIF 73, SSL 4K channel, NVR.
nice.
Two tube design with no discrete component in the signal path, like Giraffe Audio or other, or AMEC 1998. And in a few seconds, you can have a tube, two-tube amplifier.
That's simple.
And if you want to compare with a solid state preamp, it's possible. Each cartridge have a very different color sound. And finally, you can say this electronic design is better than this one because all these designs are high-end. Just the good electronic design is the sound you are looking for.
So that's so cool. I actually tested out with this mic, headphones. I went through. I love the concept, you know, it's just like, you know, take one out, put another one in, depending on the tone you're looking for, the character and stuff. And what about the street price for the rack mount unit to begin with?
The retail price without cartridge is about $1,200 US. And the cartridge, it depends the technology. The less expensive is about 300, and the most expensive cartridge, like the Giraffe Audio, is about 1,200. So you have many prices.
Yeah,
it depends.
different price depending on the.
And 4K or VR is about 500 or 600.
Okay, cool, perfect. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Fun times, but exhausting. My feet hurt, and I think it's time to wrap things up.